So we're now 122 episodes into Pokémon Horizons, and I want to talk about a question that has been literally from the start of the series. Something that we still haven't had the answer to, and that is whether the Pokémon Horizons anime takes place in the same continuity as the Ash Ketchum anime. The same universe, the same world, and the same characters. And I think this is such a big deal for a lot of people because it gives us a bit of hope and a bit of excitement that one day your favourite character can return. You know, one day Tracy Sketchit can randomly come back. One day Flint from Sinnoh can come back. One day Brock can return. You know, anyone could return if this is confirmed to be in the same universe. And I think recently with the massive appearance cameo of Steven Stone, the champion of Hoenn, has got people's excitement levels really high. And I don't blame them, to be honest. I think this being in the same universe would be such a big thing for all of us, and it would just be really exciting. So I don't see why not. And I mean, seeing Steven Stone doesn't confirm this at all, and I'm not trying to say that because this could just be the game version of Steven, this could just be a complete different version of Steven. They could use the same characters in different ways, who knows. But I do think they wouldn't purposely use someone like Steven, seeing as he had such a big role in both XY and in Journeys. So I feel like someone like that is teasing towards it actually being in the same universe. That's where I stand personally. But basically today I want to go through all the little hints we've had and try and piece together some sort of answer to this question. I know there is no answer because it hasn't been confirmed, but we can speculate the best we can, and it's pretty fun to do so. So I think the first piece of evidence, if you can even call it that, was Nurse Joy, and this was as early as episode 3 in Horizons, where we see just a Nurse Joy. And Nurse Joy is actually a anime only kind of thing. I think people get confused and think all the nurses from the games are just Nurse Joy, but that is not the case. I think in some cases like Let's Go and maybe Pokemon Yellow, Nurse Joy is a character in the game, but she is a anime original character. So for her to appear in both Horizons and the Ash continuity, it can be used as some sort of evidence, but it's nowhere near enough because there's hundreds of Nurse Joy around, so you can't really take this as confirmation. And I mean, it was pretty clear from the start that they were avoiding going to places that Ash had been and using characters that Ash has met and had friendships and relationships with. This is directly shown where we actually see Kabu, the gym leader from Galar, and this was so cool at the time. I remember being really excited about this because it was a character that Journeys just skipped over, and he was one of my favourite characters from Sword and Shield, so I was really hyped to see him. I'm just gutted they didn't do Nessa in the Pokemon Horizons anime, but there's still time, so we'll see. But for the longest time they were pretty much avoiding anything related to Ash. I mean, God forbid if they went to Alola. I have no idea what they would do there because basically everyone knows Ash there. He is the guy in Alola. He's like basically a god in Alola. He's the Cristiano Ronaldo of Alola. But I think for a long time we kind of avoided anything to do with Ash. Obviously Liko, Roy and Dot did their whole terrestrial training course where they were actually at the school in Paldea, so obviously Ash never went there, so we wouldn't have to even touch that. It was a pretty good period where we didn't really have that speculation. We can kind of focus on the story and what they were getting up to. But I feel like more recently we've started to dip our toes back into previous regions and previous stuff that could link back to Ash. For the most part, Horizons was very focused, and it started to cover the DLC as well, like Kitakami and Blueberry Academy, which was awesome. And it was very focused on the Rakwa plot, so we didn't really have to touch anything else. But I feel like the more the show goes on, the ideas become thinner and we have to pull from other regions, other cities. And with the time skip, this brought a few different things that we could look at in relation to the old anime. And I guess one of them was in episode 96, where you have these 3 characters who are dressed in Lance outfits, which just says, yeah, Lance is a thing in this universe, he exists. I mean, Lance is kind of the safest champion character you could do because he's been around forever, so you can't really take this as any sort of links to that universe. But I feel like Mega Evolution as a whole, and the fact that they went with a Mega Evolution arc, I know it was basically to tease the games, but it really does open up so many questions towards the anime, because Mega Evolution was such a big thing in X and Y and even in Journeys, so it opens the door to so many possibilities. And that brings me to Roy going to Lumio City. Again, this backstory for Roy, what he was getting up to in the year time skip, was released when Legends ZA released, so this is literally a direct advertisement for that game, and not in any way some sort of callback to be like, yeah, this is the old anime, we're going back to Lumio City, we're going to see the Prism Tower, all this stuff. But we didn't actually see any old XY characters when Roy and Alt did go there. We did, however, get Master Mayonnaise, the greatest character of all time. And I mean, his name kind of made you think of like Gherkin, and you know, he looked a bit like him and Karina. So there's hints to ties there. I'm not too sure. I mean, it's definitely a thing because he was the one to give Roy Mega Evolution. So there's definitely hints at something there, but no real confirmation. Again, I think they wanted to avoid the whole question, because obviously if you go into Lumio City to learn about Mega Evolution, I mean, you're gonna go to Karina and Gherkin first before anyone else. But Roy kind of bumped into it without really knowing much about it. It kind of just happened, and this crazy Mayonnaise dude, which I think they did well, they handled it quite well in how they avoided all the inevitable questions. But one thing we did actually get in this arc was a picture of Looker. I mean, Looker is such a fan favourite character. He was a massive part of Diamond and Pearl and the Galactic arcs, and then he also returned in Black and White, helping Ash against Team Plasma. So I think Looker in this picture is probably the closest tie of a confirmation that we're going to get. I know Emma was working under Looker in the games, and this is actually an Emma that we've never seen in the anime before, so it could just be the game version of Looker. But I think Looker is such a fan favourite, and I don't think he was in Pokemon Legends ZA, correct me if I'm wrong, but Emma wasn't the main focus of this arc. Roy and Alt were. They did do an episode introducing her and kind of shining that light on her and her whole history, what she used to do, what work she does. But I think they didn't really have to do that Looker cameo. They didn't have to show us his face, and they did, and I think that was for a specific reason. I think he is the Looker that we all know and love, and I do believe that they are in the same universe, but obviously this is no confirmation at all. This could just be the game version of Looker, and obviously the game version of Emma that is just reminiscing on who she used to live with and work with. I mean, there was a few side things that I missed over. In episode 27, they were in the Galar Wild area, and this random salesman comes up to Liko and the others, and this was the exact same guy that Ash and Go bumped into in Pokemon Journeys, but I think this is really a nothing burger. Like, this guy is literally an NPC. You can find like multiple of him around the wild area, I'm pretty sure, so I wouldn't really put any credibility in this. And then also the appearance of Olivine City, which is where the brave Olivine gets its name, the brave Asagi. That's where Ludlow was born, his hometown, or one of his hometowns in his words. This was like the first major city that Ash had been to, that the Horizons crew went to, which was such a big thing at the time. But I mean, it's really nothing to link back to Ash. I mean, it's just a city within the Pokemon world. But I mean, that is pretty much it in terms of like little references or links that you could possibly link back to Ash. Obviously, the major one that I'm going to talk about now is Steven Stone. I think this is the biggest character that we've seen in Horizons from a previous series, which is pretty mad to me. You know, the fact that Ash was battling this guy, what is it, like 3 years ago in the Masters 8 quarterfinals, and he smoked his Metagross. The fact that this guy is now just chatting to Freed is so cool, and I do like to believe that this is the same character that Ash beat. I like to believe that him and Freed had stories, and Freed said, I saw you on TV in the Masters 8. But obviously that would never happen. You'd never get that sort of confirmation from the writers. I mean, it'd be cool if you did. I don't know why they wouldn't just go all in with same universes and stuff. I mean, it's kind of risk-free. I don't see why it would affect them that much, other than getting people begging to bring back all these characters. But you don't have to do that. You can nitpick who you want to bring back. But seeing Steven was such a treat, and I really hope from here we get some more cameos. I mean, again, you don't have to go crazy. Focus on your own narrative. Focus on your Horizon story and just use the characters when you need to, like you did with Steven. I think in the end, if you carry on in this world with these characters, you'll hit a point where you have to use someone. Like, you go to Alola and you will have to use one of the characters that knew Ash, because it's impossible, because they all knew Ash. Everyone knows Ash. And we don't need much, just, you know, small references, small comments to just confirm that these are the same characters. That's all we need. And I think it would be a great thing to do, to connect these two series. You know, the original Pokemon anime went for like 26 years or whatever. There's nothing wrong with having that connection and that story that is still there anytime you want to use it. No pressure to use it, just do what you want to do with it. But that is it. I think I am leaning towards Horizons being in the same universe. I mean, I don't see why they would just create a whole another universe just for the TV anime. I get the movies and stuff is a different timeline, but the TV anime has always been running. It's been a weekly Pokemon series since it started, and unless it changes to like a seasonal thing or changes to a different sort of format, I don't think there's any reason why it should be in a different universe. But that's what I think anyway. Let me know what you think. Do you think Horizons is set in the same universe as Ash Ketchum? Let me know down below. But thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.